Many people in Borough Park, Brooklyn aren't happy with the governor's shutdown plan. Demonstrators took to the streets last night, setting a fire in protest. Your Court's Angie Gonzalez is there tonight with more for us. Angie.
Yeah, Louis, one of the local activists that's being asked about this issue and asked how to maybe calm things in this neighborhood is someone who is a very outspoken and very well-known public figure here in the Jewish community. Her name is Devorah Halberstam, and her son Ari was actually killed in a terror attack on the Brooklyn Bridge back in the 1990s. Now, Halberstam sat down with us a little bit earlier this evening for a little insight into what developed here in Borough Park early this morning. She says that she can actually see both sides of this issue. She's actually a COVID survivor herself, and she consistently wears a mask herself, and she recommends that others she comes into contact with do the same as well. Now, what she thinks happened was actually a combination of things. The Jewish community living in areas that are part of these new closures and restrictions are being issued in parts of Brooklyn and Queens. Well, they're in the middle of a celebration that lasts over several days and requires those celebrating to actually be outside. She says that implementing these new restrictions in the middle of this holiday can actually make some in the Jewish community feel targeted and threatened. She said that some in the Jewish community are also not responding well to what they perceive as threats from the state and city about possible punishments that might be doled out to those who don't abide by any of the new rules being implemented. She suggests an approach that uses more positive reinforcement to get people to wear masks and socially distance themselves from others.
COVID is not good for anybody. And COVID is should be a great unifier, because unfortunately it's made everybody sick and it's killed, unfortunately, everybody. COVID is not a racist. COVID does not discriminate against anybody. Okay, we're all equal in this. And based on that, this is where we need to figure out a way that we all need to come together instead of kind of, well, who can we blame this on?
Now, Halberstam knows firsthand what it's like to be the victim of anti-Semitism. Her teenage son, Ari, as we mentioned earlier, Louis, was murdered on the Brooklyn Bridge back in 1994 as he traveled across it with about a dozen other Hasidic students. Now, in our conversation with Halberstam this evening, she says that she hopes things will be much more calm tonight. What she really hopes is that officials, as well as religious leaders and the community, get together and decide on a way that they can address this issue perhaps after the holiday ends, or in a way that's just a lot more calmer than what we saw last night. But that's the very latest here from Borough Park. Angie Gonzalez, New York 1. Louis, back to you.
Thanks, Angie.